Evening, everyone. Welcome to City of Greenfield City Council meeting, June 24th. Call the meeting to order. Let's do a roll call, please.
Mayor White,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Rodriguez. Councilmember Ortiz. Here. Councilmember Jones.
Here.
Councilmember Garcia.
Here.
Great. We'll move to C. Excuse council member absences. This agenda item allows city council to excuse the absence of council members not present at the meeting. If all council members are present, this agenda will be skipped. Do we have any public comments on this? Seeing none, I understand we got an email. Okay. I'll entertain a motion to excuse.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Thank you. Move to invocation. Pastor Inez Lugo. I think she's online, so.
Yes.
I think she's still muted there, Ed.
Pastor Lugo. Pastor Lugo, you're on mute. Oh, there you go.
The cleanest.
Are you there?
Go ahead.
Like she's having some technical difficulties there.
Dígelo.
Ya puede comenzar, Pastor Lugo.
Keeps changing there, so. Unfortunately, I think we're going to go ahead and skip that item. And we'll move right to Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Great. Agenda review.
No changes, Mr. Mayor.
All right, thank you. Public comments from the audience regarding items not on the agenda. This portion of the agenda allows an individual the opportunity to address the council on any items not on closed session, consent calendar, public hearings, and city council business. Under state regulations, no action can be taken on non-agenda items, including issues raised under this agenda item. Members of the public should be aware of this when addressing council regarding items not specifically referenced on this agenda. Do we have any public comments tonight?
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. Jesus Perez, Recreation Manager for the city. Here to just invite all the community members to our 4th of July celebration that will take place next Friday. During this event, we'd like to call on all our local veterans to attend and be honored during our ceremony that begins at 4:30 p.m. During our welcome. And this is going to take place at Patriot Park, 1351 Oak Avenue, Greenfield, California. And a free food voucher will be given to veterans that are in attendance. And to RSVP, you can contact me. Veterans that are out there or family members of any veteran that you know could be at this wonderful event that we have planned can contact me at 831-236-1230. And hopefully we can have a great turnout of not just community members, but our local veterans can be there so we can honor them and they can join us for the celebration. Thank you all.
Great, thank you. Nice flyer, by the way. Looks good.
Yeah.
Sure.
Jesus,
Yes.
on Tuesday, I think at 5 or 6 o'clock, they have their meeting at the Memorial Hall. So you have the veterans and the American Legion. They'll all be there Tuesday.
Oh, awesome.
It'd
Yeah,
be
I
a
can
good
go,
time
I
to
can,
go
yeah,
up to let them know.
absolutely, yeah. They're a regular monthly meeting, correct? Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, I'll move on to comments from city council.
Just a shout out to the police department for doing an excellent checkpoint this weekend. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, catching up here. Let's see. I went to, on the 16th, I went to the Go Biz state and local government meeting. They did a local immigration and integration inclusion grant initiative overview. I think we had 27 people in attendance here. Supervisor Lopez provided a welcome remarks. We had our city manager, police chief, and our captain were present. We shared local and regional trends that were happening, identified and elevate key regional needs, gaps, and challenges. We had a tour of the mobile outreach van, which they had parked out here. And it was a really good gathering of quite a few people who have really good ideas and intentions to help everybody. Supervisor Lopez, we had I think it's called a listening session, and Mayor White was present, and we had also a representative from Speaker Rivas's office, Senator Laird, Congresswoman Lofgren, and the Monterey County Office Sheriff was present, and we had 9 people in the public that came to visit us and speak. And I think the main things that they covered was Wonderwood Horse Ranch, county roads, paving needs, parking lighting at parks, perhaps looking at the intersection over by Oak Avenue School and Vista Verde. There was a family that were concerned about the crossing, safety, the children crossing the streets there. There was conversations also about a Patriot Park basketball court funding, and I know there was a funding there of $10,000 that was granted 3 years ago, I think they said. So they need to spend that before they can get more. Also learned that we have batting cages being built. That was also, the funding was granted many years ago. So the Supervisor Lopez was happy to see that we broke ground on that. Talked a little bit about our water outside the city limits, and regarding mental health, maybe we have a lack of buildings to use for resources. So maybe that's something that we need to happen in Greenfield. And there was also a concern shared by a member from our public about childcare and ways that we can help them either with their paperwork or find assistance with that. That's it.
All right, thank you.
I don't have any.
Nothing? All right. Well, it's been a busy couple of weeks for me, so I've got a long list here. All right. On June 11th, city staff and I met with the Rabashadi family regarding their plans for their land in the Greenfield specific plan. I think the meeting was productive and gave them some things to think about and some decisions to be made regarding the future development of the parcel. Went to the senior social also on June 11th. Around 100 local seniors enjoyed lunch, music, and a special gift from Teresa Matsui from Matsui Nursery. Beautiful orchids were given out to all those in attendance. So had some really happy people there. So went to a joint press conference on June 18th. The Monterey County offices in Salinas. This was a press conference of elected officials and law enforcement from the Tri-County area to show support for immigrant families. Was especially impressed that the county sheriff's office from Monterey, Santa Cruz, and San Benito were there and spoke in support of the event. As Councilwoman Garcia said, I attended Supervisors Lopez's Greenfield listening session along with Councilwoman Garcia. Some of the items that were discussed included the highway changes along the 101 corridor near Salinas. Drivers will no longer be able to cross the freeway at Spence Road and Potter Road. I think there was one other one. And instead will be rerouted to Old Stage Road. And if I understood correctly, those changes will be taking place in September, I think, of this year. So that's coming up pretty quick. Also discussed was money from Proposition AA, the unincorporated sales tax initiative, which will be used to improve roadways throughout the county. I made a push to include Elm Avenue from Metz to Greenfield. And also the other county roads around Greenfield is we have some definite needs in there that need the repairs. The one from Elm from Metz has a lot of produce and a lot of traffic on that road, so that's a real important one there. Supervisor Lopez also did mention there's some money to improve the lighting in the parks. So if we could get staff to reach out to his office and maybe get some details on that regarding those funds. I think there was somebody that makes local donations for that kind of thing. So that might help us with some of our park projects. I attended the Greenfield LULAC Scholarship Dinner on June 20th. I want to thank the local LULAC members for the invitation. It's always great to promote the youth in the community. I received an email notification today from Rite Aid Pharmacy that their last day operation in Greenfield will be August 24th. So that's coming up. Hate to see them go. And finally, City Manager Paul Wood and I took a trip to Sacramento to speak to the State Water Resource Control Board. We spoke at their board meeting workshop on June 17th. We made our case to receive as much funding as possible for our new wastewater treatment plant. We emphasized how we are a disadvantaged community. We gave them a long history of our project, including the fact that we were promised 100% paid for a plan a few years ago, which was then rescinded. We also let them know we may have to put a moratorium on our future developments even though we don't really want to, because we are at capacity with our current plan. Any money we don't get from the state will have to come from local residents and in the form of higher rates, which will be a real hardship for our community. So just been a busy couple weeks. So, all right, thank you very much. We'll move to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and may be approved by one action of the City Council unless a request for removal for discussion or explanation is received prior to the time council votes on the motion to adopt. Do we have any public comments on consent calendar? Seeing none, I'll come back to council. Do we have anything that needs to be pulled or any questions?
None.
Then I'll entertain a motion on consent calendar.
Move to approve.
I need a second.
I second that.
Been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Mayor's presentations, proclamations, communication, resolutions. We have one proclamation tonight. I'd like to honor Carl G. Sidorik from Monterey Salinas Transit. Proclamation of the City Council, City of Greenfield, recognizing and congratulating Carl G. Sidorik on his 25-year anniversary with Monterey Salinas Transit. Whereas Carl G. Sidorik began his career with Monterey Salinas Transit in June 2000 as the Assistant General Manager and transitioned into the role of General Manager CEO in September 2005. And whereas Mr. Sidorik oversaw many successful MST infrastructure and technology initiatives to better serve passengers and the community, including construction of the Marina Transit Exchange, the Jazz Bus Rapid Transit, BRT, real-time bus arrival system, mobility services center, contactless fare payments, and the Future Surf busway and BRT. And whereas Mr. Sidorik implemented new transit services for the popular visitors serving Monterey Trolley, services to South County cities on line 23, Salinas to King City. The Grapevine Express, line 24, Monterey to Carmel Valley. Line 55, Monterey San Jose Express. Military service line, serving lines, line 84 from King City to Paso Robles. Line 59, Salinas to Gilroy, and a major overhaul of the entire transit system with a better bus network. And whereas during Carl's 25 years, MST has been called upon to respond to several emergency events and coordinate with the Monterey County Department of Energy Management, including COVID-19 pandemic and emergency evacuations from wildfires and floods. And whereas during this tenure as general manager, CEO, MST has received numerous awards for transportation excellence from the American Public Transportation Association, the California Transit Association, and Transportation Agency for Monterey County. And whereas during his 25 distinguished years at MST, Mr. Sidoric secured over $200 million in federal, state, and local grant funding for infrastructure, technology, and service initiatives, managed a budget that contributed $1.5 billion to the local economy through direct and induced spending, and served more than 100 million passengers. And whereas Mr. Sidoric is widely respected as a passionate advocate for public transportation, serving our communities and nationally as a spirited principal leader, consistently demonstrating a sense of responsibility for the well-being of MST employees and passengers, while championing safety and fairness as core values. Now therefore be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Greenfield hereby recognizes and congratulates Carl G. Sidoric on his 25th anniversary, and expresses its sincere appreciation for the Carl G. Sidoric and his tireless commitment to the customers and communities of Monterey County, and congratulate him on reaching this remarkable milestone of public service. Right?
I don't see Carl yet.
He's
but-
not here?
I
Can
don't
you-
see him here, but I will get this to him.
That would be great. I was just gonna ask you that. You can take care of getting that to him. That would be really appreciated.
But we'll give him an applause.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carl.
All right, we'll move to item A1. A presentation regarding City of Greenfield staff vacancies pursuant to Government Code Section 3502.4. Staff report, please.
City Council, Mayor, anyone who's here tonight.
Is your speaker on? Aaron?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
A little
Yeah.
better. Good evening, City Council, Mayor, anyone who's attending here tonight. My name is Aaron Chavez. I work for the City of Greenfield as the Administrative Assistant to the City Manager. And tonight I just have a brief presentation for you regarding the status of Greenfield vacancies, recruitment, and retention efforts. On September 22nd, 2024, Assembly Bill 2561 was signed into action and went into effect this year. This legislation now requires public agencies to publicly report and address the status of their vacancies prior to the adoption of the fiscal year budget. The bill stems from growing concerns of vacancy numbers post-pandemic. This amendment highlights the excessive job vacancies in local government and has become a significant operational challenge. The purpose of this presentation is to provide a clear understanding of how the city is responding to these challenges. As you can see here, we have a graph depicting the vacancies by department and bargaining unit. As we stand today, our city has 10 full-time vacancies. It is important to note that these numbers also reflect employees who were hired and then left within the same fiscal year, as well as positions created during the year. During the fiscal year, we had 108 applications, and 6 of those positions were filled. When surveyed, it was found that local government vacancy rates range from 5 to 30%. Our current vacancy rate is at 11.4%, which is on par with double-digit vacancy compared to bigger cities. and a little higher than nearby cities that stand between 7 to 9%. Now, regarding the 10 vacant positions, we are actively seeking to fill them. Some of these very positions are in contention to be filled soon, while other positions have been proven to be difficult to fill. For example, in community development, we have a senior planner position that is a little difficult to fill and is not uncommon. Other cities also have active listings for the said position. Here at the city, we have a 7-step approach when it comes to our job hiring process. The average number of days to complete this process stands at about 80 days. Now, in perspective, the average time to hire in the public sector is about 119 days. So we're a little lower than the average nationally. And when it comes to tenure, here at the city, we have an average tenure of 5 years and 4 months, which is slightly lower than the 6 years and 2.5 months for the public sector. That can be attributed to our ongoing strategic strategy to fill these positions with local bilingual candidates, an initiative outlined from our strategic plan. We have implemented several retention initiatives aimed at reducing employee turnover. A key focus of these efforts is maintaining a positive and supportive work environment throughout the organization. We actively promote professional growth by encouraging employees to pursue career development opportunities. And additionally, we recognize the importance of a healthy work-life balance and strive to foster a culture that supports both personal well-being and professional success. Key takeaways from this. While we are over that 7 to 9% range that I mentioned earlier, we are well below that 20% that is state mandated. 2, specialty positions like engineers and city planners are some of the most difficult to fill. These roles require technical expertise, certifications, and years of experience. The pool of qualified candidates is already limited, and we also compete with private firms for candidates. And 3, the city actively investigates different ways it can have a positive, rewarding, and fulfilling work environment to reduce turnover, keep retentions high, and increase our average tenure. With that, I conclude this presentation.
Thank you very much. Looks like we have presentations from bargaining units.
Aaron's my new executive assistant. Great job, my friend. Good job.
Congratulations.
Do we have any presentations from the bargaining units?
No, this is just an, they're, according to the law, allowed to give a presentation, but it doesn't look like there is anyone here to do that.
Okay, very good. I will open it up for public comments on this item. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to City Council for comments, review, and action. Any questions, comments?
It's just
Pretty straightforward. It looks like we're well within the range that's necessary, so. Looks like our staff works hard on trying to get those positions filled, but then I noticed the 80 days is pretty good number, so. If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion on this item.
I think it's just a receive and file. Correct, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, thank you. All right, we'll go to K2, a resolution, City Council, City of Greenfield to display the pride flag. Staff report, please.
This item is before council to decide whether or not and for how long to fly the pride flag here at City Hall. There was interest expressed at the last city council meeting to fly the flag, and the city's flag policy gives the discretion to the city council whether or not to fly what the policy calls commemorative flags, which are any flag other than the United States, city or state flag. So if you have any questions, I can answer those, but otherwise the purpose of this item is to decide whether or not to fly the flag, and if so, for how long.
Okay. Right. I will open it up for public comments on K2.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Sam Gomez. I'm a proud member of the LGBTQ+ community advocate, nonprofit leader at the Epicenter, and a board member of Salinas Valley Pride celebrations. I'm here tonight to speak on why raising the pride flag matters, especially here in Greenfield. Visibility is not just symbolic, it's life-saving. For LGBTQ+ youth and adults in our community, seeing that their city recognizes, accepts, and celebrates them tells them one very powerful truth: you belong. In a time where queer and trans people are being targeted by hateful rhetoric and dangerous policies across the country, now more than ever, we need our local governments to be bold in their acceptance. The pride flag is a simple yet powerful gesture that tells young people growing up here that they have a future, that they are valued, seen, and supported by their city. As someone who works closely with youth and families throughout South County, I know how critical this visibility is. Our community members, especially our young people, should never have to question whether they are welcome in their hometown. Raising the pride flag tells them they are not just tolerated, they are celebrated. As a leader in Salinas Valley Pride, I see every day how much representation matters, and I ask you, please continue to take a stand with us, because when cities like Greenfield raise the pride flag, you are raising hope for so many who need it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, City Council and Mayor, and thank you so much for including this onto the agenda. I'm full of support of this movement, as I think it would be a groundbreaking event for the city of Greenfield, demonstrating its inclusivity for all members of the LGBTQ and its allies. I believe this would be the first event of, sorry. It would be the first LGBTQ event for the city of Greenfield, and I think it would make a really big impact to all of the community, and it will showcase the progress we have and are making with our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hello, Mayor, council members, and city manager. First and foremost, I want to sincerely thank you all for adding this topic to the agenda, and I truly hope it receives your support. I believe Greenfield is ready to take this progressive step forward, and what may seem small can have a meaningful impact by making people feel seen, valued, and included in their own community. This proposal reflects our city's values of compassion and progress, and I hope we can move forward together in that spirit. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, and city manager. I would like to express my full support for the initiative to raise the pride flag and issue a proclamation. The symbolic action not only honors our shared values of inclusivity, but also brings awareness to an important cause. It is a meaningful gesture that demonstrates our community's commitment to recognition, inclusion, and unity. Since June is coming to an end, I would like to suggest if council approves it, and I'm hopeful it will, doing the flag raising ceremony and issuing the proclamation in October, since October is recognized as LGBTQ+ History Month. Thank you for taking action and for the support I'm sure you all will give towards this initiative.
Thank you. Anyone else in chambers? I do see one hand raised.
Eric?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Eric. Salinas that represents the entire Salinas Valley. Part of the reason why our nonprofit exists is to bring visibility to LGBTQ community members throughout the Salinas Valley. And one of the things that we highlight is that, unfortunately, the assumption that a lot of people make is that there aren't LGBTQ people in our area, when in fact that's not the case. There's a vibrant community of LGBTQ people. We're considering this flag raising ceremony, and I hope you'll join the County of Monterey, the City of Salinas, the City of Soledad, the City of Monterey, and countless other communities throughout Monterey County in honoring Pride Month, as well as educational leaders like CSUMB, Hartnell College, Monterey Peninsula College, and several school districts throughout our area. As some of the speakers before me to assure them that they're welcome and cherished in our community. And I trust that the council will make a decision to support its diverse population with this flag raising ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Not, I'll bring it back to City Council for comments, review, and action.
I want to tell you that I see you, I hear you, and you are not invisible. And I want Greenfield to be the place where our children feel they are safe, that somebody cares, that they are not alone at their schools, in their homes, and that they are always welcome here at City Hall. They're always welcome to come see us. Don't feel alone. Thank you for the courage it takes to stand in front of your community and to share your thoughts. Thank you.
Comments?
My comments are just that I'm in full support of us raising the flag, and actually, I would ask that we take the recommendation, since we have only a few days left of June, and do this during the month of October, so that we honor the request from the community.
So wait until October to raise it.
Yes, I would propose that we wait until October, because it is, I don't know that the city owns a flag that we could raise on the spot after, passing this. So I would propose doing this for the month of October.
And just to clarify, I believe the groups need to provide their own flags.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and
So
I mean, to
take-
coordinate that
take
and
consider
allow
that.
that time, I think it would be appropriate to have this happen in October.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. So, where, the placement of the flag, where will it be? On which pole? So we have two, right?
Here's the state one. Here's the state.
State flag.
On state.
On the state flag, okay. My other question is, so is this something that we need to present to the council every year? Are we doing it on a year-by-year basis, or do we just?
Just gonna look at the policy to see whether or not it's clear, it specifies that. I mean, it doesn't say one way or the other, whether you could. I think if you want to do it annually, I would recommend that you make some sort of action, a resolution or something to that effect, where you say that every year in April, or I'm sorry, June or October, you fly the pride flag or whatever flag it may be. Because the way it reads, although it doesn't specifically say anything about annually, it makes it sound as though it's like a one-off each time. So you could take separate action, or you could amend this policy to say that.
I would like to suggest that, I know this year, because June's already over, that we're doing it in October. but, that we just set it for, do a resolution that we can set it for next year in June without having to bring it back again, and then that way, their community can also plan if they want to have something, you know, at least they have it on their calendar already, and we can just move forward instead of, you know, bouncing around.
Okay.
The only thing that, I would like to add is that, that we just be open to other people when they do approach us, within reason. They have flags that, they want to, put up.
Okay,
you know,
that's good.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say, we want Greenfield to be known as a safe, welcoming, and inclusive community. So, I'm totally in favor of putting it up. So, I need a motion specific to what we've discussed here. So,
Yeah.
however you want to do that. So,
I would move to adopt resolution 2020. Wait, it's not that one. 2025-59 with the amendment that we fly the flag in the month of October as opposed to June, as the resolution currently states.
okay. Do you want to include next
And
year's? Or?
yes, and that this be a practice that we
For the,
carry forward each year for the month of June.
for the ongoing resolution, we'll have to bring back a resolution.
Okay.
So your motion could be that it's flown in October this year and that the city council directs staff to bring back a resolution to fly it in June every other year. Something to that. Or you could just use that.
There you
What
go.
our city attorney said.
Just said.
What she said.
Just said.
All right. I need a second on that motion.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, that's what.
All right.
Motion passes.
Yay.
There you go.
All right, we'll move to K3, a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield, approving new franchise agreement between cities of Gonzales, Soledad, Greenfield, and Tri-Cities Disposal and Recycling Services Incorporated from July 1st to 2025 through June 30th of 2035 in substantial form and content, and authorizing the city manager to execute that agreement on behalf of the City of Greenfield and approving the fiscal year 2025-26 garbage collection and disposal rates. Staff report, please.
We have Elia Zavala from the Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority to do a staff report. It'll be brief, right?
Very.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council and city staff. My name is Elia Zavala. I'm with Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority. And I'll be giving you a presentation tonight with the new proposed franchise agreement with Tri-Cities Disposal and Recycling for waste collection services here in Greenfield. I do want to mention that we have Mandy Brooks here with me with Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority, and I believe Ray Hendricks, our finance manager, is online, and as well as Tri-Cities General Manager Tom Farola and Mary Trelevin are also here tonight. Okay, so before we get started, I just wanted to share, since I know that there's some new members in the City Council, and for the benefit of the public, I want to share the entities that put together or come together to make up the city's waste collection process. City of Greenfield, you have a franchise agreement with Tri-Cities Disposal for waste collection services for your residents and businesses. They also provide public education services for proper disposal and some waste reduction. Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority, who I'm representing today, we provide contract administration services for the city to manage their franchise agreement. And that's the capacity that I am in here today. But we also provide disposal services, landfill facilities, transfer, and diversion programs. We are also the reporting agency for the City of Greenfield as far as your regulatory compliance and regional reporting to the state. So that's in a nutshell, your waste collection process and the capacity that we are in here today.
Okay.
Right. So the contract with Tri-Cities ends June 30th, 2025. So it has been a long process that we've been working with the haulers at the city staff, yourselves, in looking at what will happen after June 30th. Here's a little timeline as far as what we have done and what the city has done to prepare for a new contract. There were the Salinas Valley cities contracts with different haulers. All the contracts aligned to have the same termination date, June 30th of 2025. And the cities analyzed and looked into possibly having a regional franchise agreement for all of Salinas Valley and the unincorporated Monterey County. However, that didn't really come to fruition as some of the haulers, for example, City of Salinas, they extended their franchise agreement with Republic Services. And then later on, the County of Monterey also extended their contract with Waste Management. So that left the 4 South County cities to look at possibly having a joint franchise agreement that included King City, along with Gonzales, Soledad, and Greenfield. So we went out to RFP and we received 3 proposals. However, after analyzing and reviewing those proposals, they came up, proposals were significantly high in cost. There's an average from 33 to 55% increases on the proposals. And the proposal itself didn't have many more programs or services offered than what you already have. It just came with a lot more substantial increases to include the City of King in the contract. So those proposals were rejected, and the cities asked the authority to negotiate on behalf of the cities, or together with the cities, with the current incumbent. So that's Tri-Cities for the City of Greenfield. So since then, 2024, 2025, we've been in negotiations with Tri-Cities Disposal. And we have, in your packet was included the proposed new agreement. It's pretty much has the same services that you currently have. It just updates new language that is required due to new state regulations and city code that was recently adopted for SB 1383 organics recycling. And it continues to have most of its services that the community is used to having. All right, so some of the services, just a quick refresher or update, includes language that currently the city has through an MOU, some standard 1383 regulation updates. It continues to have the curbside used battery collection program that the residents are used to having. The bulky items collection that has a slight modification where there's 5 bulky items being collected up to 4 times a year instead of 10 times a year. But the service is still pretty considerably substantial service for the community. It continues to have mixed recycling capacity at no additional cost for both businesses and residents. That is definitely an enhanced service that many other local haulers do not provide to through their franchise agreement. And it continues to have street sweeping services. Okay, so with that, I just do want to remind you that the RFP proposal that we originally looked at did have a 33 to 55% increase. So just keep that in mind. However, this new franchise agreement does come with a about 13% increase to its base rate. You know, the different entities that make up the service plan have some increases here. We have Tri-Cities portion is about 9%. And then there's some pass-through fees from the Solid Waste Authority. They're about 1.8%, and then a consequential adjustment to the city's franchise fee, which comes out to be a little bit over 2%. So in a nutshell, it's about 13% average increase to the base rates for this new contract. Here on this side, I do want to share some of the factors that come to play for Tri-Cities increase their portion. They did have, there's a competitive labor market out there for drivers, so they're, the contract, the bargaining units for the different haulers have had significant increases in their contracts for their drivers, so that has trickled down to Tri-City. So definitely that is an impact in the rate adjustment. We've also had to replace some of their vehicles earlier than anticipated due to new emission regulations from the state. And there's the decline in recyclable market has also played a factor here, that the value is lower and the processing costs are higher. So there's an adjustment for that, as well as a 2.7% CPI increase that they normally get every year based on CPI. And then insurance cost is another major factor in this new contract. In front of you is just a sample of rate adjustments from common service levels, just some residential or cart services and cubic yard service, usually for businesses, and just examples of what the current rate is and with proposed increase will do to their monthly service. Okay, so that concludes the presentation. Again, this is a 10-year agreement with the 2 optional 5-year extensions. The resolution before you is requesting that the agreement be approved in substantial form and content, as there might be some minor revisions to the contract as we execute it. For example, we already noted that there is an error already on the bulky waste collection. The current contract says that there's a fee. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it's not. It still continues to be a free service for the community. So we will make that correction to the final agreement. And the cities of Soledad and Gonzales have already approved the agreement. So this is our 3rd stop.
We're the last ones for you.
We're the last one, and we are here for any questions. This concludes the presentation.
I think we'll go ahead and open up for public comments first. Do we have any public comments on this item? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for
We
comments.
have one now.
Do we have one?
Yeah. Laura?
There we go.
Good day, City Council. Quick question. Is there any way or possibility that we could get bigger bins for the recycling, the blue bin? Or faster?
It's always a possibility. I don't know if you're a business or a resident.
Larger bins.
Larger bins. We have, the hauler is here tonight, but there are several options for capacity, especially for recycling. It's included.
So how would she go about securing a larger bin?
There is a number where you can call Tri-Cities, but he's here, Tom Parola.
Tom Parola, Tri-Cities Disposal and Recycling. So when we went about the contract, it was kind of more or less a repeat of what we had with the added languages, and there was a few asks or some things we had to straighten out, like with the value of recycling, which before there was a point in time where the value of recycling was paying for the processing and was actually had a profit. It has now shifted to in our rates as a $45 a ton expense. So we didn't present the larger bin because it would have been a larger amount of money to add. What could happen, and I'm assuming we could do this with the city manager's approval, or we could always call it a pilot program, is to pilot out another bin at a slightly higher rate. I'm open to that. I haven't done the math on that. But I think part of the thought process that people don't really understand that, you know, recycling does have value, but it doesn't have enough value to offset the cost. And so now it becomes a cost item. So now we have to kind of capture our expenses as volumes increase.
So basically, the more you collect, the more you lose.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the alternative is obviously the per ton fee at the landfill is much greater. And obviously we want to do more for the community and for the environment. So, we could make it, but we don't have it currently in this particular contract. But we could definitely work it. We've added stuff on the previous contract as pilot programs, food waste pilot programs, 35-gallon cart pilot program for people who needed significantly less, like the elderly or solo living at home type or living alone type people. So
it is something we could look into.
yes, definitely. We could definitely look into it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'll stay for other questions.
Any other questions or comments? And then I'll bring it back to council.
I have a question on the current, do we all get the same size right now as far as the blue cart goes?
Yes.
Everyone has that size?
Residents all get the same size. Commercials could have different sizes. And then there's also dumpster service where commercials.
And do we know what gallon size that is?
The residential card is 64-gallon for recycle and 96-gallon for yard waste. Both those come with, and then you have choices on the garbage size.
Yeah, I have the little one. But you know, having the little one, when it came in, I thought, oh, we're gonna have an overflow. But it's amazing how we've been able to change our lifestyles, so that's all we need.
And that's great.
That's what you did, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the plan.
Yeah, it worked at my house.
All right. Any questions? I just want to comment, I mean, hate to see the increase, but the increase you're talking about, the 13% is a lot better than the 33 to 55% increase. So I think we should move forward. So. Any other comments? I'll entertain a motion on 2025-60. Need a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item K4, a resolution, City Council, City of Greenfield approving appropriation for the General Fund, Enterprise Fund, Special Revenue Funds, Capital Projects Fund, Debt Service Funds, budgets for fiscal year 25 through 26. Staff report, please.
Mayor, did you skip K4? I think you did. It's the weed abatement item.
Oh, no, it was,
It
it
was
was an
removed.
amended.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
don't have it on the agenda,
we got
sorry.
we got a new,
My
agenda.
apologies.
all right. It's been known to happen before, but not this time. All right. K4, staff report, please. That's it.
As soon as I can pull this up, I will have a staff report. Sorry for the delay.
Take your time. Kind of important, so take your time.
Don't get this wrong. Almost there, almost there. Appropriations, excellent, thank you. So earlier this week, we posted our final budget. It consists of all city departments and funds, general fund, all special revenue funds, internal service, capital projects, debt service, and enterprise funds. Over the past 2 months, city council, city staff, and the community have reviewed and discussed many aspects of the proposed budget, most specifically the general fund, capital projects fund, and the possible addition of staff positions. Through the process, the city council has reviewed staff proposals and department budgets, prioritized capital projects, and prioritized personnel staffing levels. The budget is broken down into fund groupings: general fund, special revenue, and internal service capital projects. They're all included in the budget document, but for the focus of this staff report, we focus almost exclusively on the general fund, capital projects, and enterprise funds. So basically, I mean, we've gone through the process. We ended up, what's that, 2 weeks ago with a $200,000 deficit. We had a workshop. We got public comment. Council basically directed us to cut some more, which we did over the following week. And we now have a budget, general fund budget that is balanced with revenues of $20 million, approximately $300,000 in revenues, and the same amount in expenditures. We've gone through and prioritized capital projects, and because of the cutting, we've limited general funded capital projects to the citywide generator program, which is a match for our citywide generators, and the city dog park project, which the match is only $44,000. Everything else, and there's a whole list, is funded by other funds, enterprise funds, or just Measure X monies that we get from someplace else, or state grants or federal grants. Yeah, and basically that is that. It's going to be a lean year. We've already committed ourselves to, we did a lot of cutting up front to get to a balanced budget. We did not impact personnel costs. The council directed us to leave that alone. I think there's a lot of very thankful people out there. It actually really helped us, the budget side, because it kept us, focused on, when you start talking about impacting personnel costs, it can be very difficult because they tend to affect a lot of different areas. So we just got to focus on operations. We hope that what we needed, what we've cut are going to come to fruition. We also, process has kind of focused us on continuing to cut and being more conservation minded. We were just talking, Councilmember Garcia and I, about conserving electricity. Everyone's electricity rates went up last year, and it had a big impact. We're seeing big impacts because we use a lot of electricity. So we're going to see about some conservation, electric conservation initiatives, as well as just trying to cut back on things in general. We hope that everything, we don't know what's going to happen. That's the big thing. The national economy, world economy, we just don't know. Hopefully 6 to 12 months from now, we'll have a better idea and we'll be able to come out of this. But in the meantime, we're battening the hatches, as it were, like everyone else and I know Monterey County and the state. So that's my staff report, and I'll take any questions.
I'll go ahead and open up K4 for public comment. All right, I'll bring it back to City Council for comment, review, and action. Any comments or questions for staff?
My only comment is to say thank you to all the staff that worked on bringing it down so that it would be a balanced budget without any cuts to personnel and all of that.
I know there wasn't any cuts to personnel. Can you kind of explain how we were 200,000 off last time? Kind of, can you tell us how we got to our current number?
Yeah, so we were $200,000 off. The budget, I think that we were shooting for was the 20 million. So that's about a 1% overall cut. The directive from council was to not impact personnel. So we kind of did some math and figured out, okay, so what that means is we needed a cumulative cut in everything other than personnel of around 2.5%. So we just went to all the department heads and said, get a haircut, take a haircut of 2.5%. You do it to minimally impact programs and see where we are. So within, I think, 3 days, by Friday of that week, we had a balanced budget.
Right.
Well, I appreciate all the communication that went out to everybody about the lean year that we're having or going to have, and who knows what is coming up. And it is going to take everyone's effort, but our legal obligation is to have a balanced budget. And as hard as that is, we still have to applaud everyone who worked towards keeping Greenfield legal, out of jail.
And that is department heads, manager, staff, even all the workers, everybody had a part to do.
I just wanted to say thank you to all the department heads. I know that it's tough. Evelyn, I know you poor thing working tireless hours over there. All of you, thank you very much for doing that. And you know, we're all going to do our part, you know, to try to make sure that our staff stays on board and not make any, hopefully nothing happens. It doesn't get worse. Yeah.
Hopefully.
I just want to say thank you again, echo the council. It's tight everywhere. Everywhere you look, it's, you know, tight budgets are prevalent everywhere. So whether it be whether it be state, federal, county, everyone's is trying to figure out what's going on and trying to recover. So I'm happy that we're where we're at. I'm happy that we're at a balanced budget, and also that we do have some reserve in case of emergency, but hopefully we don't have to dip into that. And we'll have to watch things very closely, of course, over the next 6 to 12 months. All right, I'll entertain a motion on this resolution.
To adopt resolution 2025-61.
Correct. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Congratulations, Evelyn.
Yeah.
This is your budget.
You can sleep
could bring
tonight.
your baby. Put the baby to bed.
All right, we will move to K5, adopt a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield approving the application for Land and Water Conservation Fund, Greenfield Park and Recreation Project. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members. It's me again. So the City of Greenfield is proposing that we submit an application under the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant, not to exceed $6 million for the new Recreation Center / Park project. Under the development application, projects must include recreational features for outdoor use, aimed at providing outdoor recreational opportunities for health and wellness of Californians. The development application also permits funding for major support amenities such as parking lots, lighting, and landscaping. If awarding this grant, these additional funds will help cover the cost associated with the development of our new recreation center / park project, which has seen an increase in expenses due to inflation and other factors. So this new grant opportunity that we have will definitely help, hopefully, get us closer to what the new actual cost is for this recreation center that we already have another grant that we successfully received from the state. And the Budget and financial impact would be a 50% minimum match requirement for the total project cost, which we can use Prop 68 monies for as well. Staff recommends that we adopt resolution 2025-62, a resolution of the City of Greenfield City Council approving the application for the Land and Water Conservation Fund, Greenfield Park and Recreation Project. And I will be happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
I think we'll go ahead and open up for public comments on this item first.
Perfect.
Do we have any questions on this? Public comments? See any? I'll bring it back to council.
Show me the money.
Now, it's just the matching grant. We can use our other grant for that, correct?
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay.
No more comments.
No more questions? I entertain a motion on this.
To adopt resolution 2025-62.
Moved in second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
K6, a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield approving the 2025 Memorandum of Understanding with the Greenfield Professional Firefighters International Association of Firefighters Local 4656. Staff report, please.
Yeah.
I had to read it. What did you?
So this item is approving the memorandum of understanding between the city and the Greenfield Professional Firefighters International Association of Firefighters Local 4656. This is a one-year contract for the fiscal year 25-26. And I'll just give a brief summary of the changes. There's just a few. There is no salary increase during this one-year contract period. We have made a change to the incentive pay, and it's more of a rearranging of the pay. So there's some additional certifications that are now listed in the MOU that will constitute additional pay, but then also there was a decrease in the percentage for certain other types. So the net should be zero, or that's the goal. Then there's also an opt-out health insurance pay. So there are some employees who might get health insurance from, for example, their spouse, so another source than the city. So for those employees who don't take the city's insurance, if they are employee plus dependents, they'll receive $200 per month from the city. And if they're just an employee without dependents, they will receive $100. And this is actually going to end up being a net savings to the city because they won't be incurring the cost of insuring those employees. And then the last one is a change to salary schedule. So currently the salary steps, the change between each of the steps is at some kind of uneven percentages. So it might be 3.8 between the first and second, and then 4.2 between the second and third, or, you know, just not equal steps. Yeah, and so the purpose of this change is to just make an even 5% between each step, and then also eliminating the bottom two steps, which are currently not occupied by any employees. So that's a summary of the changes. I can answer any questions you might have.
All right. I'll go ahead and open up for public comment first. Do we have any public comment on K6? Now I'll bring it back to council. Questions?
Show them the money.
So as you said, it is revenue neutral.
Yes.
Good job.
I would move to adopt resolution 2025-63.
Motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Then moved in second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, K7, a resolution of the City Council, City of Greenfield awarding a professional services contract to Harrison Associates in the amount not to exceed $441,493 for design services for the replacement of the Tyler Lift Station, and authorizing the city manager to negotiate and execute this contract and assign additional work in accordance with this resolution. Staff report, please.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The wastewater collection master plan prepared by Wallace Group in May of 2021 reported that the existing lift station physically cannot handle larger pumps than the existing 20 horsepower pumps. Thus, the lift station pumping capacity cannot be increased. The design capacity is 600 gallons per minute, but field tests indicated the operating capacity of actually 193 gallons per minute. The master plan states that the Tyler lift station would fulfill conditions expected for 2021. However, it was noted that it was not sized or nor capable of meeting the capabilities for future or now existing flow conditions. Although the lift station has a relatively large operating volume, it appears to be undersized, causing the pumps to cycle too frequently under existing peak hour and future average day conditions. The city issued a request for qualifications for professional design services for the Tyler lift station replacement on March 19th, 2025. The city did receive 5 fully responsive statements of qualifications on April 24th from the following firms: Dudek, Harrison Associates, M&S, Chafin Wheeler, and Wallace Group. After a review of each statement of qualification, staff is recommending the approval of a professional services contract with Harrison Associates in an amount not to exceed $441,493. Any subsequent change in scope and cost of service beyond that defined in the agreement would require council approval. The funding for this capital project is from the Sewer Impact Fund, and the estimated total project cost includes the following and is within the adopted budget that was adopted just a couple of items ago. There are 2 optional services included in the contract for a total of $23,980 or 5% of the contract costs. Staff will determine if these optional tasks will be necessary during the preliminary design phase. So what we're asking is that be included in the approval to negotiate the contract, but it may not necessarily be conducted. The preliminary design would be just over $109,000. Then there's 2 optional items. One is a geotechnical investigation for $24,160 and an optional survey for $8,659. They would also be providing bid support services. So after the design is done, to go out to bid for a contractor, and that amount would be $20,390. The detailed design, after the preliminary design is completed, would be just over $204,000. And then also they would be providing engineering support services during the construction of the project, $74,023 for a fee not to exceed $441,493. And we're also adding $20,000 for M&S engineers, our city engineer, to provide project management assistance, but not to be the project manager. That would actually be Alejandra, our new assistant engineer. She'd be learning, so we need a little assistance from M&S. So in total, the project would be $461,493. So while it sounds like $441,000 is the design cost, when you take out the bid support and engineering support services, that's about $94,000 shorter. So it's really about $350,000 for the design.
Right. I will open this up for public comment. Case 7. Seeing none, I'll bring it back to council for questions, comments. My question is, you want to go ahead? Does this give us the increased capacity we need once this study is done? Is this a study or is this redoing the lift station?
This is actually a design of an entirely new lift station.
So it does not pay for
the construction. No, this is for 100% design plus assistance during construction of engineering support services.
So $441,000 for a design?
So the design would be around actually $350,000, but we're including the support services for the construction at the same time. But we can amend that as needed.
$350,000 for a design. What's the difference between a preliminary design and a detailed design? I mean,
So the preliminary design, it goes over what they do is they scope out where they're gonna be, what type of system they're going to put in. And it's more of just a general site plan, electrical loads, but not in detail, what might be required, but not all the details of the electrical systems, of the actual pumps. The detailed design is what we would give to the contractor to actually construct it from. A preliminary design just gives you the basic ideas of which way you're gonna go, and then what they do is they meet with the city throughout that process, and they say, okay, here's which way do you want to go? We can do this, we can do an above ground triplex pump system. We can go below ground, like you have on all the rest of your lift stations. There might be a way to rehab the wet well and then add some other facility. So it makes it lower cost in the construction side of it. So it also includes some value engineering to try to get us to where we want to be for our detailed plans.
Okay, it just seems like they do realize that there's already a lift station there, correct? I mean, it's like.
Correct.
I mean, this is a lot for a study, to me.
Well, it's not a study, it's a design.
Right.
For construction plans, full construction plans. It's also going to decommission the old lift station.
Are there any other options that would fulfill this need, or is this a mandatory thing? I mean, it just seems.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking, I know it's a couple of different pieces here, but we're talking close to $500,000 for this.
Yeah, we are over capacity right now. There is future construction in that area down on the Scheid property that probably wouldn't be able to handle it through this lift station. I mean, we could try, but it would not necessarily be a good thing. This is actually our largest lift station. It runs the most sewage through it out of all of our lift stations. And back in the 2021 master plan, the cost for design that was predicted at that time in 2021 dollars was $200,000. Back in
$200,000 at that time for this.
For the design, yes, that was the estimation back in 2021.
Now going to 350.
Yeah, which we're seeing with everything moving up.
And it is being funded out of impact fees?
Impact
correct?
fees,
Okay.
yes. And I have actually started one round of negotiations, so we were able to get the price down 5% already. And that's what I presented tonight.
Do we have any other options besides this?
Well, there's many other motions that could be made. You could direct staff to put a set point on pricing, or to look at other ways to rehabilitate and expand the new lift station, which would be designed also, or the existing lift station, which would be designed also. You could, tell us that we might have a set point negotiation and renegotiate with Harris and Associates and see how much further we can go with them. We do have 4 other qualified firms. We did grade them. We do not open their pricing. We base it on qualifications and negotiate from there. Or we could, as Jennifer mentioned to me before, we could
you could reject the
Reject,
bid.
thank you.
Yeah, and
Reject all
then
bids.
reissue rather than issue a request for qualifications, issue a request for proposals, in which case you would have the price as one of the factors when you're evaluating the proposals. There's always, though, when you reject all bids, the risk that the new ones will be more
higher,
expensive, and there's just like no way to.
And then also doing it as a request for proposal by dollar figure, and we take the lowest bid, we have to specify exactly what we want, where we want it, what size, everything. So we would be doing that in-house, trying to determine that, which, we would still have to have one of our consultants assist with that.
My question is, we have history, right, with Harrison Associates?
Do we have history with them?
Yes.
They're a very reputable firm, and they have a office in Salinas. We have not done a lot of work with them, since I've been here. I don't know previously. I have worked with them in the past. In other
The name is
jurisdictions.
familiar, and I think I read somewhere, I mean, they're pretty good. at what
Well,
they're
they
doing.
ranked the highest out of the 5 proposers,
Yeah.
on their proposal, which was this nice lovely book that we had to score, score, and took quite a while.
Yeah, I went online to just do a little bit of, because I don't know them, but, I feel like I do know them somewhere, worked with them or seen their work. And, you know, the part that we don't have is the expertise. Even if I don't know if we put it in-house, do we have the expertise to do this? I think we have vacancies right now.
No, we do not have the expertise to get that detailed in what we would need. We have a general idea, but to get down into what I call the nitty-gritty of what will actually function for us.
And is there some sort of guarantee with this money? You know, is there some sort of guarantee that they will give us this quality design? They're not gonna walk back on us? Is there?
Yeah, we would go into a contract,
Okay,
into a professional services agreement.
okay.
Any
Is
other
there,
comments?
go ahead.
No, please.
What's is there an immediate need on this right now, or what?
We're behind a few years on our master plan construction projects. So this is actually at the top of the list. This is also in our time schedule order from the Regional Water Quality Control Board for our wastewater plant, that we have to have it designed by June 30th of 2026. And it's about a 10-month design period.
You said it was 200, what year?
2021.
With the same
So
company?
we have a couple months.
Yes, if you would like to direct staff to continue to negotiate with Harrison Associates further, we can do that.
I would be
Maybe
open to
maybe
that.
Jennifer could
Being
help
as-
out on some of the.
Being as we're kind of up against it on our wastewater treatment plant anyway, I mean, we're probably not going to be issuing a lot of building permits immediately anyway. I would be open to seeing if they could sharpen the pencil just a little bit on this. I mean, this is almost $500,000 for a plan, so, but what's the thought of council?
What kind of a timeline, if you went back to them to renegotiate, what are we looking at?
That could be done in a few weeks.
Yeah.
Time.
So if
We-
if this were to go up higher, we shouldn't go up that much higher in a couple of weeks.
It won't go higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said you
Well,
had,
possibly lower, but not higher.
Yeah. So Mayor White's saying maybe sharpen the pencils, meaning he wants to see if we
Yeah.
can go even lower
Yeah,
with the consultant.
if we can reduce that.
I'm okay with that.
How do we proceed on this item then?
Just make a motion to direct staff to continue to negotiate the contract and attempt to get a lower price.
Need a motion?
Make a motion for staff to go back and renegotiate.
Second.
And I got a second, motion and a second, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you.
All right, turn it over to legal for the adjournment to closed session.
City Council is going to meet in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54957.6. Conference with labor negotiators. The agency designated representative is City Manager Paul Wood. The employee organizations, there's 3 listed here, but as you know, you've just approved the MOU with the firefighters union. So tonight we'll only be discussing Service Employees International Union Local 521 and International Union of Operating Engineers Local Number 3.
Right. I'll open that item up to public comments. Seeing none, we'll move to closed session. Thank you. No action taken in closed session. We'll move to brief reports on conferences, seminars, and meetings attended by mayor and city council. League of California Cities. Any report on that? All right, Transportation Agency for Monterey County,
I have a meeting tomorrow morning.
right? Association of Monterey Bay Area Governments, that's me. We met on June 11th in Monterey. There was a short agenda, but we heard a report regarding the REAP 2.0 grant. As you know, the REAP grant provides funds to encourage housing production in the area. Greenfield received $79,985,000 last year on the grant. The state is looking to recapture or take back these funds if they're not spent by March 31st of 2026. So they made a point that it's not spent, not just obligated. So we need to take action on that and make sure that's taken care of. Right? Salinas Valley Solid Waste Authority.
No, that's us. We're doing a meeting this Thursday, so I'll give you guys an update next time.
Monterey Salinas Transit.
We met on June 9th. And the main event was Carl's 25-year anniversary. And all the staff actually did something really fun where they had head cutouts of Carl over the 25 years.
Oh.
And so there was like Carl, the first year he started working for MST. And at one point, after they read the resolution and after he said a few words, he turned around and it was just his face in the whole audience. So it was really fun, but it was also, informative for me being a newish member to their committee, to their board, to hear everything that he has contributed to our county with transit and all of the initiatives that he championed. And so he was celebrated, and most cities had a resolution to present him as well. So that was fun. It was a fun part of the meeting. But we also authorized the purchase of 9 StarCraft cutaway buses. We adopted the budget for the following year, and we authorized a property lease agreement because MST has to leave its current lot at the former Fort Ord. So they will be purchasing or trying to enter into a lease agreement for property in Salinas on Rianda Street for a 5-year term. And so we authorized that, and those are the main highlights. We did ask for a report on the ridership with the new circulars for all the South County cities, basically from when each one was installed in a different month. But from installation to now, to see what the ridership has been on the circulars. Our on-call service is ending in a week or so on the 30th. And so they did provide me a report through email of from January to now, how many residents have been using the rides program, qualify for rides. But I asked for that to just be updated all the way up until our next meeting in July. And the other South County cities would like to see that for their cities as well. So hopefully next meeting, I'll have like a written report that I can share out that maybe we can put on our website or something.
In addition to that, just for your information, I put a bug on Supervisor Lopez's ear, trying to get him to get service to the San Lucia Square.
Yes.
Encouraging them to do, I know they don't want to do the left turn, but I encourage them to do the left turn there in order to provide services. Otherwise, people are going to have to walk a half a mile to get groceries. So
right.
I don't know if they'll go anywhere, but I did promote that and push them. So
yeah.
Hopefully if you see them,
that would be great. I know they said there was
push them.
A taxi service, I think, that they were talking to, but it fell through, and Paul probably has more information on that maybe, but there's difficulty with securing a taxi provider here.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, they're based out of Salinas, and when we looked over the qualifications, they didn't have the required insurance.
Yeah. And
so we sent it back to them saying you need to upgrade the insurance. We haven't heard back from them. It was a couple of weeks ago.
All right. Thank you.
That's all.
South Salinas Valley Broadband Authority.
We haven't met.
Okay. Monterey County Mayors Association. We met June 6th in Carmel. Supervisor Kate Daniels was our guest speaker. She spoke about how tourism and agriculture are 2 main economic drivers in the county. She pointed out that the tourism comes at a cost, such as all the traffic congestion and problems getting you into and out of the county. So, she also discussed some using the measure AA sales tax money being allocated for improving roads. But how the supervisors are being prudent with the funds and they're not really wanting to spend them or obligate them until they find out kind of how much they're gonna receive on that on a regular basis. So, that was bulk of her talk. Let's see. Salinas Valley Mayors and Managers Group. We met yesterday in King City. We discussed a number of things, actually had a pretty long agenda. Couple of things that we discussed with the Hartnell Promise, the 5 Cities Initiative. The Valley Cities, with the exception of Greenfield and Salinas, have discontinued the program for financial reasons. We're currently still budgeting, Paul said 15,000 for the program. So this is of course for our students for, you know, computers and tuitions and trying to make sure they get proper education at Hartnell. Also discussed was the youth violence prevention. We talked about developing an action plan to address the issue on a more regional basis rather than each individual city. The group would love to see, you know, some kind of a satellite Metro Cielo project in South County. If that could ever be arranged, that would be a tremendous boost to the local population. Anything else that you want to add, Paul?
No, they also talked about Wonderwood Ranch as a regional.
Right.
And so we'll talk about that.
All right. Planning Commission.
Yeah, Planning Commission, got two pretty significant items. They're gonna once again look at the Buyer Building for approval there. I think there've been a few minor changes or different ways of looking at things. And this other one is the state approval and the Planning Commission approval of the housing element that we just got back. The state did approve, so planning, because the planning person, it comes to city council, I believe, after that.
Okay, so we'll be seeing that soon.
Yeah.
All right. City Attorney report.
I have nothing to report.
City Manager report.
Nothing to report. Thank you.
All right, thanks everyone. Good meeting. Got a lot of stuff done. Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you. That deserves an applause.